Our next step is to allow the user to add an expense to a particular budget. And don't worry about the interface because, as I've mentioned a number of times, this particular lecture or even the whole course is not about creating interfaces. It's just to see how GitHub Copilot can help us out. And we have already seen that some places it helps us out, while at other places it doesn't. Now, looking at the code over here, the first thing we want to do is to make sure that we can go to the expense list screen. So I'm going to go ahead and create a navigation link that will be based on the destination as well as a label. So the destination in this case will be the expense list screen. And you can see that it's actually allowing us to pass the budget, which is actually pretty good. Yes, we actually will need to pass in the budget. And for the label, I'm just going to go ahead and copy all of this stuff. Basically delete this from here. Now, currently we don't really have an expense list screen, and that is why it is complaining. So let's go to our code and add a brand new expense list screen. There we go. Now, as you can see that in the budget list screen, we are passing budget to the expense list screen. So I'll go to the expense list screen and I will say budget. Okay, that's what we are passing. And as soon as I do that, you can see that the expense list screen over here is kind of like not happy because we're not really passing anything to it. Let's go ahead and pass something. Usually this should come from the actual persisted information. So if I try to do that, there is a possibility that it may not work. Like if I try to do this, previewable, query, query, there we go. I guess we have to import SwiftData also. This may not actually work because I've tried it out and it just doesn't like it. What I'm trying to do is to fetch all the budgets through the query, right? And I guess we can not use private. And then simply inject the first one that you got. And this is not really going to help us out that much because you'll see that the query, the expense list screen is fired first, so it may not even have access to the particular budget. So it might just blow up. All right. And if you do have a solution to these problems, you can let me know. But let's see if it actually helps us out or not. Okay, there we go. You can see it kind of blows up. And the reason it blows up is that the budgets over here, it doesn't really have anything right now. And by the time it gets something, it's already too late. This expense list screen has already been called. And that's why it kind of messes everything up. So how can I call this? Well, I can simply go ahead and pass something over here, like vacation. The problem with this approach of passing in an object like vacation or budget is this is not really a persisted object. I mean, this is not really coming from our database. We just created this new object. So if you try to save it, it's not really going to work as expected. All right, so we may have to run the app a little bit in a different way for this to work. Now, in the expense list screen, we want to list all the expenses. So let's see, list or let's see expenses. Okay, let's see if it actually helps us out over here. Okay, it's creating a list. Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at that. It actually already knew that the expenses are in the budget. So it just, used that amount, that part. Where it made the mistake is using a text with a dollar sign. The reason that this is not going to work as expected is that every country will have this own currency or every region, and we want to use the formatter. So in this case, I can say expense.amount, and the format in this case, well, we're just using currency, and I'm passing US dollar, but you can actually replace it with locale identifier, and that will give you the local currency. So this is good. This will list out all the expenses. The final thing that we want to do also is to allow the user to add an expense. And we can use the same exact approach that we did last time. I'm going to go ahead and create a state variable, private var. I think there's a name. Let's check out what the expense has a name and the amount. So that's for the name. And there we go. It actually understands that. That's for the amount. And we can create some text fields over here, I believe. Let's see if it actually helps us out. Expense name. There we go. It's helping us out. And the expense amount. That is also true. So the interface will be exactly like the add budget. I'll just say add expense. Let's see what it does over here. Okay, that's also a pretty good code, right? So it has already written a lot of code for us that we can actually use. In the add expense, we are creating an expense with the name and the amount. If the amount is nothing, then we simply enter 0, and then it adds to the budget or expenses. If I try to run this right now over here, it may not work as expected, and the reason is that the budget itself is not really persisted. So it may not work as expected. All right, but I can try it out. Let's see. So I'll add an expense A, amount is 2. Okay, so you can see that it is displaying it over here, but keep in mind that this budget that you are seeing over here, or this expense that you're seeing over here, is not really tied up to a persisted budget because this budget is not really ever saved. So that might be an issue. All right. Okay. So I think all of this is done. We can go to our budget app file, and I can wrap this with a navigation stack and also inject the model container for budget.self. We don't really have to pass in the expense over here, and the reason we don't have to pass in the expense is if you go to the budget already has a reference to the expense, so it will figure it out itself that expense is also needed. Let's go ahead and build it. And one of the most important things over here is when I'm passing in the model container, I am not specifying that if it is in memory or not. You can see in memory is false, all right? Because this is the actual app. So when I run this, this is going to persist into SQLite database, which is a default database. So it's not really going to persist in memory, because if we persist in memory, guess what happens? You run it for the next time, it will all be gone. All right? So that's the important part. All right? So let's go ahead and run this. It's going to take some time to run. Content view, I guess we don't really have a content view in this case. Let's go ahead and replace that with a budget list screen. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. Okay, we're running it. Okay, taking some time to run. So there we go, it's running, and you can see that it doesn't really display those default or hard-coded budgets and expenses because this is running through the actual, database. So let's go ahead and say travel. Budget for travel, let's say 2,500, add a budget, and then we have travel. And we have, let's say, enter. Again, the user interface is not important, keep in mind. 500, there we go. So we have travel, we have entertainment. I can go to travel and I can add an expense, let's say an airfare, 250. And there we go. So we have the airfare. And if I go back to entertainment, I don't see that. And I go back to travel, I can see the airfare. For entertainment, I can say whatever, movies. There we go. And I can say, let's say whatever, popcorn. When you're at the movies, you probably need the popcorn. There we go. And there we go. So it's working, everything is working fine. But again, the UI is not really that important. The important part was our experience when we were working with GitHub Copilot and how it integrated itself with Xcode. So hopefully you have enjoyed this, and hopefully you will start using GitHub Copilot in your applications and see that how it benefits you while you're making your apps.